compact bony tissue, yes, inside of which will be tympanic cavity, the volume of which near the 1 cube centimeter, and it has also incorrect cube shape. And correct or incorrect cube shape includes 6 walls. Do you see? And it will have 6 walls. And behind of this wall, which will be opposite than the lateral wall, which is pares membranosus, this is membrane, this wall, it joins to the space. In the, do you see, compact tissue is placed space. Do you see? This is shape of the space. We cannot evacuate this object because it is only space. How we got this space? We took the natural temporal bone, and here on the middle wall is opening, and we by the syringe directed inside the plastic thing. When it got the strong condition, we put the bony tissue into the concentrate acid. Acid destroyed the bony tissue, and we took the shape of the plastic space. Do you see? You can see this space, it is placed in the compact bony tissue, and it has a very interesting shape. This it has wide region, which is called vestibule, which continues by tube in front of this is called cochlea, and from this wide region, which is called vestibule, the some tubes direct by 3 perpendicular positions to the different sides. And these are called semicircular canals. Vestibule, cochlea, semicircular canals. This is space. This space is placed where? In the bony tissue. Yes? Because it's called, if it has interesting shape, it is called bony labyrinthis. Bony labyrinthis. Inside, in this bony labyrinthis, inside in this space, will be pocket, which by more of situations, which repeats the shape of the bony labyrinths. I will give you example. You have boot, which has size 45. Inside of which you have rubber socket, the size of which in 5 times lesser, 9. We try to associate. This will be only by this shape. This will be boot, do you see, bony labyrinthis, inside of which will be socket, pocket, do you see, which will repeat by more of situations. The shape of the bony labyrinthis is called the membranosus labyrinthis, about which we will speak later. Now we will come back to the tympanic cavity. Tympanic cavity, like the cube shape, has 6 walls. Lateral wall is tympanic membrane, pares tympanicus. This wall, it joins to the bony space. It's called the labyrinthic space, labyrinthic wall, labyrinthic pares. On this, do you see, labyrinthic wall is placed opening. This is window. It is called finestra vestibule, because this window, it opens into the vestibule of the bony labyrinths. And behind of this window is placed space. What is space? This is space of the bony labyrinths. This is space between wall of the boot and between wall of the socket. Between wall of the bony labyrinthis and between wall of the membranosus labyrinthis. And this space consists of fluid, which is called perilymph. Inside in the rubber socket is another fluid, endolymph. Did you understand? Okay. Listen to me. Medial wall, it is labyrinthic wall, or pares labyrinthicus. Upper wall, this is roof. Tegmental wall, tegmentum. Do you remember? Lower wall, it is the border of the jugular opening. It is called jugular wall. Do you see? It will be for the jugular fossa and will be for the tympanic cavity, the same wall, jugular wall. Posterior wall, it directs to the mastoid process, mastoid wall. Anterior wall, it is very, very short. It is placed below, do you see? And is very, very short. It is common for the carotid canal and for the tympanic cavity because it's called the carotid wall. Carotid wall. Why it is very short? Because above By auditive tube, it continues to the nasal part of the pharynx and opens by pharyngeal opening of the auditive tube. Do you remember? And when we started with your temporal bone, give me the temporal bone. When we start with your temporal bone, we started with you. This is carotid canal. And here do you see smaller opening. This is muscular tuberal canal. Muscular tuberal canal is located near the tip of the heart, 1 millimeter laterally than the carotid canal, or 1 millimeter medially than the Peters-Squamous fissure. Do you remember? Muscular tuberal canal. By horizontal plate, it divides into 2 floors. Semicanal, half canal, do you see, for the tensor tympanic muscle, and the half canal of the auditive tube, concrete auditive tube. Auditive tube opens into the pharynx. So, from pharynx, do you see the inflammation by mucous membrane continues, do you see, to the mucous membrane of the auditive tube and to the tympanic cavity. Inflammation will do the thicker condition of the mucous membrane. Mucous membrane by inflammation will get thicker condition and will close this space. Infection can enter and do you see and will develop here the microorganisms and will produce the pus. Do you see? This is auditive tube because sometimes after the pharyngitis, which you will get by very often eating of the ice cream, and do you see, you can have like abnormal continuation of the pharyngitis, otitis. Otitis is inflammation of the ear duct. And listen to me. Here do you see the walls of the tympanic cavity, jugular lower, tegmental upper, mastoid posterior, carotid short, do you see carotid in front of, laterally will be membranosus, and medially will be the labyrinthic wall. In the tympanic cavity, I place it later, I will try to show you, I place the very, very smaller bones of our organism, hearing bones. They are very smaller. Now, for example, I don't know where students put the models. For example, do you see, they will be near, do you see, half of millimeter, of centimeter, do you see, half of centimeter, for example, stapes by whole its square will be half centimeter, do you see. And so 0.7, this will be molliolus hammer, do you see? And you can see the one bone is called hammer, by Latin is called malleolus. Malleolus has, like hammer, do you see, root, do you see, which expands by head. Do you see? This is malleolus. Malleolus, it connects with anvil. Anvil, do you know what is anvil, not? My dear, do you know the worker, which from the hot metal by hammer does no any knife, any material from do you see any do you see very warm do you see metal object does any by hammer does any object. You can see this table on which do you see the worker puts the worm material, metal material, and try to do by hammer any shape. Do you see this table is called by English anvil. By Latin it is called incus. Incus. Hammer and anvil, do you see, they connect by capsule, do you see, by joint, do you see. Here, do you see long process, do you see, of the anvil or incus by joint connects with stapes. Stapes. Do you know what is stapes? Do you know domestic horse? And for the comfortable, we put the feet into the special arches. These are called stapes. This will be stapes. Stapes has, do you see, 2 legs which complete into the arch, and base. This base, by its distance, accords the diameter of the fenestra vestibular window. Do you know, for example, the bottle for the what? Vino. Champagne. Champagne. Do you know champagne? Do you know the special cork, do you see, cap? It, do you see, goes into the neck. Do you see? But here is very difficultly, very strongly. Here, do you see, no, it closes compactly. But it can do the prominence inside, outside, inside, outside. But it, by its diameter, records very better. Because behind of this window is placed fluid. And by this compact joining, it cannot exit. But the stapes can prominence inside or can do the direct outside. When our ear catches the sound, directs by external acoustic meatus, does the vibration of the tympanic membrane. Tympanic membrane pushes hammer pushes the incus pushes the stapes pushes the perilymph. Да? Stapes pushes the perilymph, which is placed in the bony labyrinthus. But in the tympanic cavity, do you see, besides joints, do you see, we have also muscles. And you know, where we have, do you see, joints, everywhere we have muscles. But here we have interesting muscles. One muscle starts from walls of the semicanal of its, do you see, position. This is called tensor tympanic muscle which expands tympanic membrane. Tensor tympanic muscle begins from walls of the semicanal, and attaches, do you see, and it directs to the side and attaches to the tympanic membrane. Tensor tympanic muscle, do you see? Another muscle, this will be, do you see, the fenestra vestibuli. This will be, do you see, the medial or labyrinthic wall. And from medial wall of fenestra vestibuli will direct to the leg of the stapes muscle. It is called stapedius muscle, musculus stapedius. Listen to me. For example, if we will take, do you see, the blinds, do you see, and we'll close window by curtain, and soft curtain, and we will open the window, and you can see this curtain will fly here by air. Yes. If I will come and I will do expand this curtain, it will not fly very large. Listen to me. If you study anatomy in your hostel room, and behind of the wall, your colleague congregates, do you see, congregates the birthday, and big music, and you must prepare anatomy like today, and you ask him decrease the sound, and he doesn't want to decrease. Listen to me, in some minutes later, at first, do you see, this is a very big problem. In some minutes later, you don't produce attention. You contract this muscle, and you so decrease the sound. Because it will not activate, do you see, the air in this room, do you see? If I want to listen what Ankita says, do you see, Aishani or anybody about me by secret, do you see, I contract stapedius muscle, and what I do, I stretch this stapedius muscle to the medial wall, and I prominence it into the fenestra vestibuli more. I do you see, push the perilymph, do you see, more, do you see? This is stapedius muscle. If the sound is very smaller, we will activate for increasing of the hearing stapedius muscle. If the sound is big, we will contract the than the tympanic muscle. These muscles are skeletal and they are controlled by our consciousness. These are muscles and bones of the tympanic cavity. Another, you can see here, my dear, in the any box you can see the green atlas. Why